Welcome back to MidPoint, where we question everything. And also welcome back Florida congressional candidate, former member of the House of Representatives and former officer in the U.S. Navy. Let's point that out. Carl Domino joins us right here in the studio. We saw a soundbite coming into the very first segment about Democrats running away from Barack Obama at this point right now. But the people are continuing to hear that. The Republicans are just hammering on that. They're running, they're running, they're running. Is that the way to win an election? To tell people what the other guys are doing and then not face exactly what the issues are straight up? Is that what the American people want?
Well, sometimes it works and sometimes. That's how President Obama ran his first election. He said we shouldn't be in this, we shouldn't be in that. It is peculiar that the media, the press, and a lot of people focus more on the negatives than the positives. There were endorsements in my race of my opponent. Not once was it mentioned that I'd brought portability, that I'd brought scripts that had served the military. It was, I pandered on this, I pandered on, although they were actually both pretty good endorsements. My opponent got endorsed by a paper that actually said his positions are part of a political calculus. Now, should we be endorsing people who the paper even admits is saying things because that's where the politics are? People are sort of fed up and people are disillusioned. And I think people understand that too often their Congress people are just not in the same world they are. We need term limits. That's one of the things we've spoken about. And we need other material change to get congressmen to be citizens legislators rather than professional politicians.
All right, Patrick Murphy, your opponent, is raising a lot more money than you have, and he is also getting a lot of the independent voters. How do you expect to blunt that and get people to vote for you then?
Well, we're going to have enough money to run a vigorous campaign. Patrick Murphy ran commercials two years ago saying phooey on special interest, and then he's the biggest special interest collector there is. There's no question. What we've got to do is show Patrick Murphy changed from a Republican to a Democrat, accepted Obamacare, accepted amnesty, voted against securing the borders. On many issues, he's voted right down the liberal line. It's our job to make voters understand, and they'll choose which they want to go. Do they really want a guy like myself that, rightly or wrongly, has been pretty square on the issues over many, many years? I mean, I am what I am.
Okay, in your opinion, is he willing then to vacillate and change anything that he stands on just in order to get elected?
Well, he did that on All Aboard Florida. He was giving speeches all over the district last year, about what this was the best thing since sliced bread. It was going to create jobs, and he wrote a letter to the Federal Department of Transportation saying, we've got to expedite this process. After I started opposing, he said in April, his eyes were opening, and then he switched his position. He switched his position. If I had the money to ask Barack Obama to come down and do a fundraiser with Patrick Murphy, this election will be over. We put some yard signs up. They were his mailings from 2 years ago. He and Barack Obama. He said, Patrick Murphy working with Barack Obama. Every place we put them, they put a Patrick Murphy sign on either side of it to hide it.
Then in your opinion, is Patrick Murphy a con artist?
No, Patrick Murphy's a kid whose father's very wealthy, that grew up in Broward, saw an opportunity to run in the Broward district, but he had to go Democrat, so he switched parties, and then he saw the same opportunity up north. He did that. So he's basically a person, as far as I'm concerned, that has no political gravitas. He just wants to be a congressman.
So is he what's wrong sometimes with the political process here in America? Somebody just with a chuck full of money and they just want to go ahead and get involved and get elected?
Well, if a guy says special interest shouldn't control elections 2 years ago, and now is collecting every special interest. He collected money from the Wolf of Wall Street people. He collected money from the people that are going to put All Aboard Florida. After we pointed that out, he turned it back in. Do we want congressmen that spend most of their time trying to raise funds, or do we want congressmen that are working for their constituents? I've never been the greatest fundraiser. In fact, that's why some people say I can't win. But I've also created some jobs and sold some companies, so we're able to fund, along with a lot of people that are giving us contributions. I don't really personally attack Patrick Murphy. He wants to be a congressman. His dad wants him to be a congressman. He and I were in the same party up till a few years ago. Now he seems to conveniently forget a lot of those matters.
I got about 30, 40 seconds left right here. Is this part of the problem here right now? America's tired of being conned, not only by local politicians, but also by their president, in your opinion?
I think they see politicians getting elected, going to Washington, getting stroked so much that they sort of forget why they went there. I also think that too many Americans think every problem can be solved in Washington. You know, if you want a lot of problems solved, you got to look at the mayor and solve them for yourself. Washington is not going to solve all your problems. And when you think it is, then you're building a dependency on a system that will not help everyone. So I think people are disillusioned. I think people don't see their congressman. I think they think they're being told only what they want to hear, and it's bad because the strength of our system is democracy, going out to vote. I hope the turnout's better this year than a lot of people expect. It would be disappointing that at a time when we have young men going in harm's way, maybe losing their lives for democracy, that people stay home and not vote.
All right, Congress. Thank you so much for being here again.
My pleasure always.
Carl Domino, good luck in the 18th Congressional District. All right, later on this hour, the key for Republicans come the midterms, in one opinion, will come down to numbers. After the break, a battle the right would perhaps be better off walking away from before the actual elections are held. It's on MidPoint.